All right, good evening. Welcome to Bird Dog to Intern with Ivan Oberon. This is Tuesday, March 13th, right? Yeah, man, it's crazy. We're already getting through a whole nother week, halfway through the month already, and it is daylight savings time in effect. Uh, Probably that's why some people aren't showing up to the webinar. There might be something going on. And it is Thursday. Yes, thank you, Fred. Thursday. That's that happens sometimes. You lose a day, you lose a couple of days, you lose a week, and that's one of the things that I noticed as soon as I went into real estate investing full time, and I didn't necessarily have to get up and go and report to an office or a location or something somewhere. Your days go by a little bit differently, and you end up working way more hours, or at least it seems like you do. And especially when you're doing everything virtually or remotely, and you don't necessarily have to leave your house, you just kind of lose track of time. Almost what I imagine being retired would be, or when you were a kid in school and you had summer break, right? And you didn't necessarily have to be anywhere or go anywhere. My mom always stayed home, so I didn't necessarily have to go to camp or anything like that. So you kind of lose, what day is it right now? Or when you go on vacation, you don't necessarily care, right? Well, I guess it's kind of the similar thing. So thank you for the congratulations. Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about that tonight as well, Mike. All the changes that are taking place with VRIA, and how it's going to impact this, and how it dovetails with everything else that we're doing, because it's gonna be great, and we're gonna do some great things together. So we're gonna get into some of that as well. Talk about the coaching program that we just released. But what I want to do is, also go over some questions. If you guys are still, doing certain things, or if you're running into any challenges, we'll of course address those. But I want to talk about goal setting tonight. I think I want that to be kind of the primary topic of discussion this evening, so that you guys can kind of keep focused and get focused on something. And if you're not doing your goals or writing your goals, or maybe you're not doing them this way, I want to spend a little bit of time giving you some examples, kind of a structure of how I do it, and how I recommend other people do it as well. And it's going to be more of a, how to set big goals, not necessarily your daily task list or what do you want to get accomplished today, but what about the future? And that's what we're going to go over. So here I am. You're gonna get to look at my picture for a little bit, and then of course, one of the new main websites is virtualrealestateinvestor.org. That's gonna tie in with everything that we're doing with VRIA. And be allergic to average. I wanted to make that the topic of this slide, or the title of this slide, based off of one of the Thank God It's Monday episodes from Eric Thomas. And you have to be allergic to average. And what does that mean exactly? What is average? Society and everything, in the government and everything that surrounds the way people live, they condition you to be okay with average, to be just part of the masses, right? You go to school, and you do well, and then you got to go to college and do well, and then you got to get your degree and do well, and then you have to go and get a job with your degree, and that's the way you do it. And then you make sure you have a 401k, and you put some money aside in that. And then by the time you're 70 years old, you retire and you take a pay cut. At the time of your life where you need more money, you want to be enjoying your life. You're going to have more freedom and more flexibility to enjoy, that last third of your life, hopefully. And it just doesn't make sense. But that's what everybody's conditioned to do, and has been conditioned to do for decades and decades. And it's by design. Okay, the quote unquote powers that be want you to remain a worker bee. They don't necessarily want competition in the higher ranks. They don't want people who really think for themselves, and they want people to fall in line with the status quo. This is who you are. This is what you're going to do, and we're going to basically set you up for just a little bit of success. just a little taste, just enough to kind of whet your palate, to keep you satiated, to placate you, to whatever you want to call it, just so you experience enough success so that you can pay your bills, be just over broke for most of your life, and hopefully, have some barbecues and enjoy some fake holidays and things like that, and give you kind of a semblance or an illusion of freedom or of control, or of making you think that you really have control of what you're doing. But what you're really doing is you're kind of falling in line with everybody else, and you're being average. There's nothing wrong with average. They tell you this is the way that most people do it, so it's got to be okay. And you're above the poverty level. You're not down here. You're doing things the way that you're supposed to do, so that's okay. And that's one reason that 97% of the world does not set goals, because they don't necessarily have goals. Their goal is to get through the week, and then thank God it's Friday, and then they're going to unplug, and you hear the whole, I don't bring my work home, and I have to do all these things to tell myself that now I have this freedom. I'm gonna not work on myself. I'm gonna stop self-improvement. I'm gonna stop thinking about work or moving forward, or improving myself, because that's the way that I've been conditioned. I mean, they created an entire restaurant chain around that, because that's the way people are conditioned. That's what's average. That's what people are okay with. That's what you've been made to believe that is okay. And every week goes by, and then another month goes by, and next thing you know, your life is just kind of passing you by, and you don't know where you're going. You don't have any clue really what you're doing, because your goal is just to get through this week. I talk to people, and sometimes that's all we can do, right? We just, man, I just got to make it through this week. There's I got to do something. There's more month than I got money for right now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so that's what we got to break out of. And part of doing that is being consistent in setting your goals. Hello, Beth. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm gonna just gonna go ahead and continue going. And what I was talking about here, I know you showed up just a little bit late, is just about being allergic to average, and not falling in line with the status quo and what everybody tells you to do, and how it's okay to be average. But you have to want to break out of that mold and be allergic to it, literally allergic to it, so that you don't conform with everything that's going on, so that you notice those things that in your life that are holding you back, that are keeping you as at average income levels, average happiness, average relationships, whatever you want to associate it with. You got to break out of that. So that's part of what these calls are about. That's what we're going to be talking about goals tonight. We're going to be talking about what we're doing with VRIA and the coaching program, and that's really designed to help take people to the next level, and to break out of being average. There's a reason why we did that, and we're going to get into that. So all of you on this call already know what we've been doing, what the strategy is about. I'll give you a quick little overview of what we've been doing. It's a installment purchase contract for deed, lease purchase, owner finance, a variation of whatever you want to call those things. That's the basic strategy that we're doing. You guys already know how to source the leads and what you're doing with those leads. You've been forwarding to me. You've been making calls on your own. And the reason why we felt that we needed to really create this coaching program was because so many people were getting involved. So many people were taking bits and pieces of information and extrapolating and kind of adding their own spin to it. And with the new regulations and laws with Dodd-Frank and the SEC and all these different things that you can get in trouble with because you tell a person the wrong thing, or you're telling them, talking about balloon payments and interest only things, and if you don't understand the fact that there's certain restrictions against those things now, and you have to have the proper progression of documentation and contracting in order to be in compliance with those things, and to be able to not get yourself in trouble when everything is coming back on us. We had to take the reins of that stuff again, and now we're only allowing certain things to be run through the coaching program so that we can control and teach the people that are in that program how to do the things properly and how to reach that level of success together. Because the whole point of it is we have this live running business that's already capturing leads. We're doing deals on a regular basis. We have all the marketing taken care of for you guys. You don't have to shoulder any expense. We have an assistant already in there who's doing all the marketing, who's doing all the top posting, who's basically running all that back end for you. We're doing all the contracting on the front end and the back end. We're taking all the liability, and we're running all those things through the process step by step. We have the home finder program. We have all these lead capture technologies as well. The website, the credibility pieces that many of you don't have, just because you haven't built a business. You don't have all these pieces of credibility that you can leverage off of yourself. So now you can leverage off of what other people have done. Other people have created all the different successes and things that have been built over a period of time. And those are going to be some of the benefits that you receive. And we'll get more into that a little bit later. But let's get into goals and goal setting and a little bit of mindset, so that you guys can get, I guess, just continue to get pointed in the right direction, and have the proper motivation to do what it takes to run this business. Let me get to my next slide here. And that's not the one. All right. So some of you may already be setting goals. And I don't know what your strategy for that is, or how you do it. But here's how I do it, and why I think it's important. And maybe it'll give a little bit of insight into what you guys can do. All right. And hopefully this will be helpful. So one mistake that people make is they set goals that are too small. Okay, maybe it's only a weekly goal, maybe it's a month goal, maybe you're doing your week, month, 6 months, year, whatever it is. I start by focusing on the biggest goals first and writing those goals down first and consistently. And you can then delineate from there and maybe create certain steps and tasks that they're gonna help you accomplish those things. But you have to have your eye on what that goal is, and have a vision for it, and see it, and be able to envision yourself there on a regular basis when you handwrite your goals. Okay, that's another thing. Don't use your iPad, don't use your computer, your phone or whatever it is. You have to put pen to paper, because it engages a significant amount more motor skills, and it engages your brain much more so when you write things down manually on paper, and it really acts towards making things more real. So you have to make your goals huge. And I thought I was writing my goals down pretty big already. And then I read Grant Cardone's The 10X Rule. And then I was like, oh man, okay, well, I was definitely not calculating my goals big enough. I wasn't calculating the amount of energy and effort it was going to take that's necessary on a big enough level. And that's a great book, an audio book. If you guys haven't checked that out, I would highly recommend it. It's The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. But your goals need to be huge. Now, why is that? They need to be huge because you have to have a certain level of drive and motivation. The goal has to be something that actually pulls you towards itself. So, the majority of people that I talk to, or a good number of people that I talk to, their goal is to make $100,000 a year. When you talk about financial goals, okay, there's lots of different types of goals, and we'll get into, how those other goals have to tie into that financial goal. You can't just have a money goal. That's not effective. So, but that's what the majority of people, I would say, that I talk to, that's their financial goal. I want to make $100,000 a year. Now, that might be a decent goal, and that might be, a goal that you have, but I will argue that it's not big enough. It's not big enough for when you have a bad week, or you're struggling, or you don't feel well, or you're tired, or whatever it is, to continue to pull you towards itself. It doesn't have a big enough, I don't know, you can call it a centrifugal force to draw you towards itself with gravity to get you excited to get out up in the morning. If you're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year now, $100,000 is not is not going to be big enough to drive you. So if that's your goal and you listen to what Grant Cardone says, then that means that you have to make that goal 10 times that. So what does that mean? That means now your financial goal needs to be $1 million. And why is that? Why is that important? Because that's something you can get excited about, right? That's something at least you can get way more excited about than making $100,000 a year. Make 7 figures a year. When you write that goal down, that's something you can get excited about. You can feel that, you can sense it, you can sit there in the moment. And that's why you write your goals down, because you can write it down, you can think about it, you write it down, then you visualize it. Now, some of you might not believe that that's possible right now, and that's okay. And that's why you have to take certain steps in your lives to increase those levels of belief, to understand that that's possible, to understand that you deserve it, to understand that you can do those things. And one of the things that you would want to do is create a vision board with a bunch of things that you would desire. I subscribe to different magazines. The Robb Report, for example, is a magazine that focuses all on high end stuff. Houses, vacations, boats, wines, liquor, all these fine things. And you may not want some of those things. You may not need some of those things. Whatever it is kind of irrelevant. The whole point is so that you can see those things tangibly, so that you can understand that those things exist, and that you can understand and increase your level of belief by knowing that, man, look at these things. People actually live this way. People actually attain these things. They enjoy these things. There's so many wonderful foods and locations and places in this world that are meant to be experienced. And you need money to do those things. So that's what I would recommend that you do on a regular basis, is have a vision board, have clip outs of things that you like, that call to you, that speak to you. I'm big on travel and vacations and visiting new places and exotic places and those sorts of things, and eating good food and tasting good wine and that sort of thing. And so I have different different pictures on my vision board of certain things. I have certain cars that I like, and so on and so forth. And the goal needs to be something that you have not attained and that is not easily attainable, so that you can continue driving towards that goal. Because the closer you get to it, and when you do accomplish a certain goal, you have to set a new one, right? You have to continue to expand and push that envelope and create new, bigger and better, more driving goals as you do that. So if you want to make $100,000 a year, your goal needs to be to make $1 million a year. Okay, that's one thing that I think when the first time you write that, if you've been used to, or maybe you haven't ever written anything at all as far as what you want your income goal to be, it'll feel weird the first time you write it, right? Because you have to condition yourself to believe that that's possible. You have to condition yourself to believe that you deserve it, that other people do it, that it's not that much more difficult to make 7 figures over making 6 figures. You just have to increase your level of action in order to attain those things. So that's the first thing that I would recommend. Set your goals big and increase your level of belief by the different things that you do in your life every single day, that you put in front of your face and absorb into your mind to increase those levels of belief. And then just the mere act of writing that goal. And this is how you write your goals. Okay, you have to write your goals in the present tense affirmative. That's another thing that's going to increase your level of belief in its accomplishment, and draw it to you, and cause your mind to have ideas and put things and circumstances and events in your life that'll allow you to take action in certain things so that you can achieve those goals. So for example, I make $1 million a year. That is how you write that goal. That is a present tense affirmative goal. I make $1 million a year. And when you write that down every single day, twice a day, And that's another thing I love about what Grant Cardone says is he says he writes his goals 3 times a day, in the morning, at night, and anytime he loses or fails or something, or anything like that, where he doesn't reach something. Because why? In the morning it's important so that you get your focus right. At the end of the day before you go to bed is important, because that again keeps your focus on those things. And every time he loses, because again, now it's about, okay, here we go, I'm gonna refocus again on these things. And so that's why he says he writes his goals down 3 times a day. I started writing my goals down twice a day, and understand that everybody's human and everybody's going to miss a day, and everybody's going to miss, well, maybe I only did it once today instead of two times, or maybe it didn't happen at all, and that's fine. Just make sure you start again the following day. Don't use that as an excuse. Oh, well, it didn't happen, so I guess I'll give up now, and that's not gonna happen anymore. So I guess I don't need to do that. No, it's about consistency. Everything is about consistency. That's how you develop your business. That's how you develop your pipeline. That's how you build your foundation. That's how you build momentum in anything, is through consistency. So write your goals that are huge, write them down in the present tense affirmative, and do things and take the actions in your life necessary to increase your level of belief and understanding that it is possible. Now, the other thing, of course, is not just writing them down in the present tense affirmative and doing it by paper and doing it every single day, but your income goals, they have to be for something, right? You have to have things that dovetail into it in order to keep you motivated, because it's not about the money. Okay, money is just a tool. Money is irrelevant. It doesn't mean anything really. It's just dirty paper. Okay, so it's not about how much money you're going to make. That's not necessarily what you want. You don't necessarily want the money. You want what that money is going to help you accomplish. So you have to have goals in there as you write them down, and not necessarily that this will be forceful, but hopefully you have these things already in your heart, because you have to have uses for that money, right? To make it worthwhile, to make it um, I don't know, man. Just have an emotional connection and a heart connection, so that you tie it to something, and understand that there's no such thing as an unrealistic goal. Okay, that's why I'm making $1 million a year. I make $1 million a year. It's not an unrealistic goal. The only thing that's unrealistic are your timelines that you set for yourself. So while I'm a proponent of setting tasks and setting certain deadlines for those tasks, because it does motivate people, it prevents procrastination and all these different things. I think the big goals, I don't think that you necessarily have to have a quote unquote deadline for those things, because it's not an unrealistic goal. There's only unrealistic timelines. And what a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they set a certain goal for a certain period of time, and then they see how far along they are, and then they start realizing, oh man, I'm more than halfway there to my deadline, but I'm definitely not more than halfway to accomplishing my goal. So the mistake people make is, well, they rewrite that goal into a smaller goal to help give themselves a sense of, well, now it's not that hard, or I won't have this sense of disappointment if I don't hit it in that timeline. And the mistake is that they lower the goal instead of increasing their action. And so that's what you always want to make sure that you do, is you increase the level of action and activity. If you're not getting to a certain place fast enough, if you're not accomplishing a certain goal in a timeline that you're setting for yourself, you have to increase the level of activity in order to accomplish that goal, not decrease the goal. That's the biggest mistake that people make. So I'm going to give you an example, or some examples of some of my goals that I write down, and I recommend you get some kind of a notebook or a binder, or something that you can carry with you if you want to carry with you. And I was just using a college ruled spiral notebook until my awesome wife got me this nice kind of pleather bound black, really nice pages, and it has a some motivational writing in the front, and I mean it's beautiful. But here's some examples. Okay, just so you understand kind of how different things dovetail in to make that emotional connection. I make $3 million a year. My life is exciting and full of wonder. I vacation internationally 3 times a year. I am a large donor to my church. I help my friends and family become more successful. I complete 40 plus successful real estate transactions per year. I am an early riser. I love my wife and kids more every single day. I own a Princecraft pontoon boat. So, I mean, I have a page full of these things for just one day. So hopefully what you're seeing there is, yes, I have a financial goal, but there has to be something there, right? I have to, I mean, I want my life to be fun and exciting. And that of course is a vehicle or a tool that I can use money for. I want to give back. So, to my church, I want to give back to my friends and my family. What good is it if I'm, super successful at any single thing and I'm making all this money, but I don't give back and I don't help other people learn how to do the same thing and follow along and create partnerships and all those different things. Like that's useless. Somebody, whoever said it's lonely at the top wasn't a leader. They were just some idiot that was kicking everybody on their way up to the top. And you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. That's not fulfilling to me. I love vacationing. I love traveling. I love going, especially out of the country into more tropical places. I don't like the cold. I like the tropics, and so I enjoy doing that. And I want to take my kids and do those things. Uh, I told you that your goals need to be something that you haven't accomplished yet, right? So I love my wife and kids more every day. Why did I write that down as a goal? Because love is an action, and even though I love them completely today, I still want to love them more tomorrow. Why not? It's possible, but it's an action. So I write that down. I one of the things that I want to do, and it's one of my goals. Sometimes it goes further down the list. Sometimes it comes up on the list, and that's another thing. When I write my goals down, I don't ever refer to the previous day or if I'm writing them down at night, I don't look to what I wrote down in the morning, because your goals will change and the priority of those goals will change from day to day as well. So you just kind of sit there with a pen and paper and you think about it and you write them down as they come, and then you don't just power through it. Okay, when you write down a goal, you want to sit there, you write it down, and you read it, and you envision it. You close your eyes, and you feel how you would feel when you accomplish that goal. If that makes sense. So that's kind of how you would want to dovetail those things into themselves, because it's not about the money. It's not about the money. You need the money for certain things, and obviously that's why we work and all these different things that we need to survive and provide for ourselves and for our families and everything else. But it can't be the focus, right? You guys have all heard of you need a strong enough why to get you through those things. It's not about the how. When you focus on the how, you only get reasons why you won't be able to do it and can't do it, and all this negative self-talk comes in. But when you focus on the why and those important things, those things that have an emotional connection to, that's how you get the motivation. You continue the motivation to get those things done. So is that helpful so far, guys? I mean, hopefully you guys are doing some of these things. If not, hopefully this is helpful. I've kind of covered all those things. When do you write them? How do you write them? There's no such thing as unrealistic goals, just unrealistic timelines, and your goals need to be huge. And when you write these things, I mean, understand that I don't know how accurate some of these statistics are, but you can't help but take notice when they tell you that only 3% of the population write down their goals, 97% of the population do not. And then they also tell you, and this, that 3% of the population control 97% of the wealth. You have to see a correlation there. Same thing as reading. You have to be readers. Okay. Leaders are readers. You have to read things that are inspirational, motivational, and educational on a regular basis, daily, if possible, because that would be preferable, and stay away from the. I mean, I'm not a proponent of escapism reading, and a lot of people are. But if I'm gonna, and that's probably just because I'm not a super speed reader like some people are. I know people that can read a book in a day or two, and that's just not me, and I accept that weakness, but I'm gonna focus my time on those things that are gonna help improve who I am and who I want to become, and increase my level of understanding and belief. And then if you use that statistic as well, there's something similar along those lines. That what do they say, that 97% of the population reads less than one book a year, and 3% of the population read at least 10 or more books a year. And the top 1% of the population that control 99% of the wealth read an average of over 60 books a year. How crazy is that? Like when I read that, when I found that out, just the idea of reading 60 books a year to me was just like, wow. Like that seemed more challenging to me than making $3 million in a year, to read 60 books a year. So, but you understand that all those things, right? Regardless of whether you're going to make $3 million a year, or you're going to read 60 books a year, or you're going to own multiple successful businesses and companies, or whatever these different goals are, is that it's going to take consistent, daily, massive action. And it's willful action, right? You don't read 60 books a year just by happenstance. You have to get up early, go, spend an hour or two reading, and then read throughout the day, and then maybe read at night, and maybe you can knock out 2 books a week, and that's crazy, right? But it's not. I mean, people are doing it. So that's another reason why you read, and you read things about successful people, and you read things by successful people, and the different habits that they have, so that you increase that knowledge, and you increase your exposure to those things, and to those things that are necessary to accomplish those things that you want, so that you can start applying those things into your life. You can start working those things into your life. You see what other people are doing. And another effect that this has is it helps you shed your own excuses, right? Because you start seeing people that, well, they're just like you. They have the same challenges, and that's what I tell a lot of people. When they say, "Oh, well, you do this or you do that, or you have this advantage or that advantage," you're just like, really? When I started in this business, I was working in insurance, over a 10-year long career. I worked full time. I was building my business full time. I had kids, and I still do, little kids in school and homework and getting them ready, and bedtime, and chores, and responsibilities. And I got a mortgage. I got bills to pay. I got all these different things. I got to buy groceries. I got, but I was staying up until 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, building my business every single day. I'd go to work for 9 hours. I'd come home from the office. I'd work out. I'd continue working. I mean, and this is this is funny. Pete used to laugh at me about this, because I'd set up a ladder in front of my treadmill backwards, so that I could put my laptop on the the backside, where you would like maybe put a bucket, or something, whatever that little thing is for, to hold stuff. Well, I'd had it backed up backwards in front of my treadmill, so I could put my laptop out there, and I was looking for listings, and I was writing offers while I was on the treadmill. And so don't tell me that you don't have enough time. Don't tell me that you have this excuse or that excuse or whatever, because successful people don't do that. They don't make excuses. They create solutions. They make the time. They create minutes in their day. They make sacrifices. If you're watching 2 or 3 hours of TV a day, you knock it down to an hour or a half hour. All those little things add up. You have to be willing to shatter who you are today at any moment for who you want to become. And I'm sure you've heard Pete say it. Eric Thomas says it. It's a great saying. You have to be willing to shatter those things, because what you're doing here is you've created your wherever you are right now is, again, the aggregate of all the different choices and decisions and actions that you have taken up until this point, good or bad. That's what it is. And you have to take accountability for that place that you're at in order for you to be able to start making choices and be empowered and empower yourself to say, look, I did this. Now that I know that I did this, and it's my decisions or it's my fault or whatever, however you want to call it. Now, because I acknowledge that and take accountability for it, I have control. I have the power. I can do things differently. And you're not necessarily going to stop doing those things that are bad habits. What you're going to do is you're going to replace those bad habits with good habits, because you don't just necessarily eliminate or drop bad habits. You don't just necessarily quit bad habits. You replace them with good habits, and that's what's going to take you to that next level. That's what's going to take you to where you want to go, is by creating those good habits. And that's why reading books about people who are successful, people who, whatever your idea or representation or definition of success is, that's what those people are doing. So it'll give you ideas. And I've heard of people say that, they read a book just for that $1 million idea. They don't care what it is. They don't necessarily care what the topic of the book is. It's like, if I can get one idea out of this book, it was worth it. Because who knows what they can do with it, right? There's going to be something that you get out of reading one of these books, whatever it is, educational, inspirational books. Things like I said, like I've already mentioned, the 10X rule, how to win friends and influence people, the magic of thinking big, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I mean, there's all these things out there that are educational and inspirational and motivational, because they're written by people that understand these concepts of what it takes to not be average, to be exemplary, to be, above what everybody else is, and who understand that it takes sacrifice to accomplish those things. Excuse me, I need a drink. So the other thing that I'm going to leave you with is your mindset. Some of you are making calls, some of you are dealing with people, and sometimes that can be difficult. That can be challenging. You can maybe not be having a good time or a good day. And there are certain word tracks that you want to use with yourself. And it's going to seem silly and it's going to feel weird, but understand that that's, again, you're shattering who you are. You can't care what other people think or are going to think of you, or what you might think of yourself. You have to change those things. And I'm going to give you, some of my own motivational, self-improvement, self-growth type of word tracks that I use, that I speak out loud. Sometimes I do it before I get on the phone, just to get my attitude right. Sometimes I have a sticky note that just says, in capital letters, just smile. Because sometimes, even if you don't feel like smiling, you force yourself to smile. You just put a smile on your face, right? It changes your disposition. It changes your mood. It creates a different release of endorphins into your body, and it causes you to sit up a little bit straighter or stand up a little straighter. So there's these little habits, these little techniques. And so I'll share with you what I do. And then sometimes when I'm in my truck driving, and then I'll do a combination. I'll make sentences out of these different things. But here's a few examples, okay, and that you can use yourself. And I didn't put them on slides, so you guys can either write them down or come back and listen to the podcast later on if you want to. But here's a few. So I can, I will, I must. I can, I will, I must. When you say that to yourself loud, and you increase the volume, and then you start screaming it, I guarantee you that you'll feel different. Your eyes might well up a little bit in tears. It's powerful stuff. Trust me. Okay? Do it and tell me I'm wrong. Whenever you can do it right now when you're listening to this, it won't matter. You're on mute. You can do it, or you can just do it later. You can do it in front of a mirror. You can go do it in behind closed doors. It doesn't matter. But I can, I will, I must. And you repeat that over and over. And tell me if you don't feel more empowered. Tell me if you don't feel some of your frustration kind of peel away. Tell me if you don't feel some emotions rising because you've been telling yourself or you've been allowing other people to tell you for so long that you're only so good, that you're only going to be able to accomplish so much. That you only deserve so much. I can, I will, I must. Now, another thing is great things are supposed to happen to me. Great things are supposed to happen to me. I believe wonderful things will happen to me today. This is one I use before getting on the phone sometimes as well. Is just I like myself. 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 Say that over and over. I mean, it sounds silly, right? You might feel silly. I understand that. But if you don't like yourself, what makes you think that the person on the other side of that phone or the person across the counter from you or whatever it is going to like you? And this is sales, guys. Believe it or not, this is sales. Whether you want to or not, this is sales. And sales is nothing but a transfer of enthusiasm, and people buy from people they like. And so if you don't like yourself, nobody else is going to like you either because they'll sense that from you. Okay. So I like myself. The other thing that kind of parlays with that is I love my work. 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 And I like myself. I like myself and I love my work. It doesn't matter what you do, what you're doing, whether it's you're building your real estate business or you're at work right now. Well, not right now, but you're working. It'll change your disposition. It'll cause you to maybe hate your job a little bit less. And it doesn't mean that you don't still go out there and pursue everything you need to pursue in order to get out from that job or work that you're doing right now, if that's ultimately your goal and your desire. But it'll help your day go easier. It'll help those days go faster. It'll help you be more successful in your current position while you're growing other things. And the benefit of that is that you will sense that success momentum and it'll carry over and spill into the new things that you're building. And that's one of the hardest parts. It's like, man, I hate my job. And right, you get all this negative stuff. And guess what? You're going to carry that negativity into the new thing that you're building. So why not make it positive where you are with the understanding that, look, I have this goal and I'm going to get out of here because this isn't my dream. This isn't what I want, but you make it a positive thing. I love my work. I love my work. I like myself. It's powerful stuff. Another habit that you want to do is compliment people personally at every opportunity. People at work, people in your home, especially your kids, your spouse, other people that you see on the forum, other people's successes. You want to compliment those things because it'll make you feel good and it'll inspire you. It'll inspire a sense of camaraderie as well. So other people will want to help you as well. And you'll just draw that positivity right back to yourself. Some questions that you ask yourself, well, how can I do better? At the end of the day, how can I do better? In any situation, how can I do better? It's about the questions that you ask yourselves, right? I am important. I have what it takes. I am a first-class performer, and my work is important. See, those are all empowering statements that will motivate you and that will drive you. I am important. If you believe that you're important, you believe that you deserve all these different things, you believe that what you're doing is going to be important and the people around you are going to believe that you're important and that you have what it takes, that you are a first-class performer, you want to believe that so that you can take action, that you are motivated, that you do maintain when things get hard, because you know things get hard. And if you think that you're going to work less or not as hard growing your own business, regardless of what it is, obviously we're talking about real estate investing and virtual real estate investing and these different techniques, you're going to work hard. Right now you're working for somebody else. And maybe you're not working as hard because, somebody else already built part of it for you and whatever. You just don't have that commitment. But I can tell you right now, I work a lot harder now than I did when I was in my insurance business, because I was still, yeah, I had a lot of latitude and different things, but I was still working for somebody else. I still had to be there at a certain time, stay till a certain time, perform a certain way, and so on. And it wasn't something that I was really building for myself. If it was, I would have been able to take it with me when I left, but I wasn't. So, but you're gonna work hard. I've been working since I guess just about 8 o'clock this morning. So it's not unlike most of you. But the difference here is that I'll be working till about 11 o'clock tonight. Once you guys get off of here, who knows what you'll do, right? Obviously, I'll break for dinner and different things, but this is every single day. Sometimes 6, 7 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock. It doesn't matter. You don't unplug, right? So that's part of building your own business. I vow to be amazing. I am committed to excellence. And one that I really, really like is I am the best. I am the best. And again, it goes in line with writing your goals in the present tense affirmative, right? I make $3 million a year. I make $3 million a year because I like myself and I am the best. And I love my work. Great things are supposed to happen to me. And I believe wonderful things are going to happen to me today because I like myself and I love my work. And I always ask myself how I can do better. I vow to be amazing every single day, and I am committed to excellence because I am the best. You see that? So it's not just about saying like this one thing repeatedly and repeatedly, which has power. But when you do it long enough, you can start creating your own word tracks, your own things. And I'll show you the power. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of the power of some of these things. And I don't, I'm not gonna get all weird on you guys, and I'm not one of those necessarily, name it and claim it type of people, and who believe that it's all about the universe and the spirits and all these different things, because I think there's a lot of misconception on what happens there. But there's there's certain things that you can't deny, right? So doing those things is important. Now, I did something. I wrote a personal kind of word track. Um, I think it was in 2011, and we were doing our assisted living facilities training, and I hadn't looked at this thing for a while. There was a period of time where I would say it like every single day, to a point where I memorized it, and I was saying it. And I would say it at different times of the day. But then I stopped, and I wrote it and kind of towards the back of one of my hard covered binders, or no, I'm sorry, my hard covered notebooks, and I had a certain goal, and there was a progression of things that I wrote, and I'm going to share it with you guys because I think it kind of plays into what I'm talking about here. And it was a very interesting awakening for me because I hadn't looked at this thing for a couple of years, and I had this notebook with me because I have a lot of different information in this notebook and different trainings that I've attended, different things that I've learned, and I write them down in this specific notebook until I fill it. And so I was in front of the class, and there was a point that I was gonna make, and there was something in this book that I wanted to reference. But then as I was flipping through it, I noticed what I wrote, and it kind of took me by surprise because I had written something or something had happened 2 days prior that when I looked at this, I was just like, oh my gosh. And here, I'll read it to you. And you guys are like, what does it say? Come on. So this is what I had written. I will personally acquire and possess $500,000 by December 2013. I will provide fruitful investments to all who invest and work with me, and I will help those who need funding. I will continually network and build relationships and help myself and others acquire real estate for flipping and holding. So this was early on in my career. And as you see the progression there, there's okay, here's my financial goal, here's kind of a deadline, here's what I'm going to do and provide in order to accomplish that, and the value that I'm going to add to other people in order to accomplish that, right? Because it can't just be self-centered. And so I had put it away. I kid you not, 2 days before I stumbled upon this, I had gotten a wire for $532,000. And when I read this and I realized it, the training that we did, our assisted living facilities training in Phoenix, which we have one coming up here in April. If you guys want to find out more, it was December of 2013. We were out in Phoenix in December, the end of this year. That was our last assisted living facilities training. I mean, you can verify it. It's on our website, whatever. You know what I mean? And I was just like, holy cow. Now I need to be a little bit more specific, because it wasn't $532,000 in profit that I got wired into my bank account. It was to be used for different things. But the point is that happened, and that I did personally possess it in my bank account before I wired it off into, to be used into different projects and stuff like that. So there's some kind of reality and power to some of these things, and whether we understand it or not, or we want to say that it's because of this or that or not, it's kind of irrelevant. The point is that it's documented, it's proven, it works, and why wouldn't you want to do it? If nothing else, it'll help you be a more positive, happier person by having those habits and by using those word tracks and by doing those things. And that's what winners do. They find out what other people that have come before them have done and done successfully, because believe me when I tell you, there is nothing new under the sun. It's all been done before. New people come along and repackage it and make it more shiny and do this and that, but it's all been done before and it's all out there. It's just a matter of you taking action on those things. Excuse me. All right. So moving on, I want to give you guys my links, which I'm sure, I think all of you already have these things. But of course, our website is c2crea.com. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Ivan Oberon. And I don't have a tremendous amount of my own personal videos there. Of course, I put these on there. But you can check out the different people that I subscribe to so that you can get inspired by them as well. People like Les Brown and Eric Thomas and Brian Tracy and Grant Cardone. Of course, I'm plugged into with Pete and his videos, and Vria and Vincent. So you can check that out. Facebook.com/C2CREIA is our main page. And then, of course, if you're not part of the Vria group, go to Facebook.com/groups/virtual real estate investor. That's where you'll plug into what we're doing with owner finance strategy and the different successes that we're having on a weekly, if not daily basis. And there's a lot of great information and motivation and things on that as well. If we're not connected on Facebook, go to facebook.com/Uber Ivan. I couldn't change that. Okay, that was my original thing. Or you can just go to c2crea.com/connect, and you can find us on all our different pages there. virtualrealestateinvestor.org is where you'll find information regarding the coaching program and everything that you're going to receive. And if you want to get involved with that, I strongly encourage it. It's going to be different than anything that you guys have participated in before. And if you guys have questions about that, ask me, and of course I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. If you have any questions regarding what you're doing now in regards to real estate, in regards to this program, what's going to be happening, now's the time, guys. It's the top of the hour, and I want to open it up to you guys. anything, so that we don't have just dead silence. And I saw somebody just barely tune in. Maybe it was the daylight savings time. No, because that would be backwards. So, all right. How are you guys doing? Anything? Mike, Fred, Beth? Haven't heard from you for a while. Are any of you guys still sourcing leads? I haven't been seeing any leads. So hopefully you're still at least doing it for yourselves and doing something with it. All right, guys. Well, if there isn't anything, all right, hang on a second. Why? Why, Michael? What can I do to help, man? Has this been helpful for you? We don't want you. We all experience those things, man. We all get down. We all have negative things. I mean, that's why I say things are relative. We all have struggles. We all have people. Family members get sick. We have. I mean, one of my good friends and his wife finally just had a baby 3 days ago. She was born great. A day later, they find out that one of the valves in her heart didn't form right, and she's already in the hospital. She had open heart surgery yesterday, and it's just like, man. I mean, those things put. I mean, they just slap you and put you in perspective, right? Because there's so many things, so many people, so many different crosses that people carry, but life has to continue. Okay. Hey, don't worry about it, Kelly. That you missed the first half, because this is being recorded, and what will happen is this recording will be up on our website at c2cria.com under podcasts. All you got to do is look for the Bird Dog to Intern tab, and you'll be able to find it there. Probably won't happen tonight, but in the next day or so, it'll be up there, and you can go there now and listen to the previous ones. I mean, there's like 20 of them up there. The last five or so have been very, very good. The ones before that were good too, but I don't know. It's weird. I think every time you go and you do more, you like the newer work better. So you can definitely go there, and we'll touch base. You'll be able to listen to the first half of this as well, and then listen to some of the previous ones, because we do go over different material each time. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. Sorry to hear that, man. And obviously, I'm not going to share your comments here. What is up with the new program? Well, Mike, I can. Well, no, just go to virtualrealestateinvestor.org. I'm not gonna pull it up for you guys here, but go to virtualrealestateinvestor.org and check it out. I mean, the new program is all about hands-on coaching, so that we can help you guys on a daily basis do deals, plug you into an actual live business. Okay, here's the vision. Okay, and why I got excited, why we put this thing together, and how it's powerful for all you guys. Not only will you be able to learn hands-on from us who are doing it, who are successful at it, who understand the laws behind it, who understand the contracting, the word tracks to use, how to close. It's going to be an entire system that teaches you an entire process from start to finish. It's going to teach you about sales process. Is going to be a sales training. Okay, so if you've never gone through any professional sales training and understood how to control a conversation, understand how to do trial closes, understand how to feature benefit things, understand how to not let the tail wag the dog and control the conversation by asking the right questions and all these different things. It's going to be an intensive sales training as well. So it's not specific to any one strategy. Okay, this isn't a one-trick pony strategy. We're focusing on one thing because the need is so big. But there's huge opportunities when you start talking to sellers and when you start talking to other buyers. Other things develop. I mean, we have like 3 short sales that we're working right now that isn't this owner finance thing, because it fell into our laps. We almost did one yesterday because of the situation. And we don't pursue short sales, but when you have a seller already lined up and you have a buyer already lined up, that's when you do a short sale, because you already have the money in place, you already have both parties in place, and you can we get the deed, and we get the power of attorney, and we get the hardship package, and then we negotiate all that. And what ends up happening is now we get money up front, plus we're collecting a monthly cash flow while we're negotiating the short sale, and then ultimately we end up selling. So there's a lot of different opportunities in the real estate investing, not just this option for the people that are plugged into the coaching program. So not only are you going to learn how to be a better closer, get more properties under contract, but we're providing all the contracts for you. We're providing all the marketing for you. So we already have an assistant that works that gets paid on a monthly basis to put the marketing out, to do the top posting, to make sure that everything is up to date, and then we handle all the buyer leads, again creating more opportunity for everybody else. We have all the contracting on the back end to the proper progression of contracts that need to be done, so that you don't have to pay for any of those things either. You don't have to worry about being in legal compliance. We have the corporations, the insurance, we take all the liability on. And then we also, obviously, there's going to be advanced training for dealing with buyers and how do you close a buyer and the different nuances that come up with them, and getting them to get into the home finder program, so that you start building a pipeline of buyers that are each putting, stroking out $1,000 just to get into the program, to only later come and give you another $9,000 to $30,000 down the road when you find them the property. And doing all these, systematizing all these things. And then what you got to realize is that now everybody's working in the same business that's already built, and all the different opportunities and leads and deals that are being done within the company are benefiting every other person, because it's a team. And essentially, what you're paying for with the coaching program is not just the learning and the things that you will learn that nobody will ever be able to take away from you, that you can go and use in any other thing that you're doing, because of the benefits that it holds. But you'll be able to have that almost like owning shares in this business, because you bring a deal, or you come in, and I have 40 properties, and so now, out of these properties, somebody calls and, well, you know what, they didn't like this house that I had, but my house brought in that buyer, and you have a different property. Well, maybe they like your property, or maybe I bring in a buyer, and we don't have a property, or I don't have a property, but you have one over here. So you know what I mean? Everything starts to benefit, and then we all start doing deals together, and the more deals that there are, the more that we can benefit from. And that's the whole abundance concept, because the last thing that you want is to ever have a scarcity mentality where, oh man, if I don't get all of this, there's no go. I would rather get 30% or 10%, even 5%, which that's not the structure here, obviously, but I would either rather get 5% of 100 deals than 100% of 10, or 200 deals or whatever, just because I can leverage off of my networks and the people. And that's why we created Coast to Coast REIA in the first place. So, and then of course, being able to grow that business almost infinitely, because of the systems in place. And if you were to go out there and set up the websites and the credibility package, because anytime you talk to a seller or a buyer or anything else, where's your website? What do you do? What's your experience? And you can leverage off of our own experiences, make our story your own story, send people to a website that's compliant with all the regulations and all those different things. I mean, it would cost you thousands of dollars to get that done, and upwards of thousands of dollars just to maintain all those things on a monthly basis. So that's, I don't know if you want me to go into into that much of a detail, Mike, but that's the basic foundation for it. Go to virtualrealestateinvestor.org and you'll find out a little bit more. And then as soon as whatever, there's 4 different participation levels that you can get involved in. And as soon as you do, you pick the one that's right for you, you get started, and you basically get started right away. You get login credentials to the private website and the forum, and we get rocking. One of our new coaching clients got a contract executed today, a day after our first call. So it's powerful stuff. And I just did a post on there as well, regarding some of my experiences today with a buyer that I'm working with. So there's a lot of benefits. Go to virtualrealestateinvestor.org and you can find out more. All right, let me get to a couple more comments. Okay, good, Michael. Michael says he's as passionate as ever. So rock on, man. And yes, I definitely pray and hope that that situation for you improves, because man, life can be tough sometimes. All right, can you do the 10-minute task? You can continue doing whatever you've been doing, Michael, or Mike. I'm sorry. It's just a matter of what level of involvement you want to have after that. All right, let's see. Another comment. You will hear from me with leads shortly. I will succeed. Think about it every day. Truly appreciate what you're doing. You're clearly a class act. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. God bless. God bless you too. I really appreciate that, because this takes energy, guys. All right. And that's one thing that you guys are going to need. And I don't like necessarily telling people what to do or that they need to do something or whatever, but I will, man, and I hate using the word "but" when I had to snap my wristband if I hadn't given it to somebody today. So I'll get another one. But the point here is, don't wait until you reach your pinnacle, whatever that is, before you start giving back to people. So here's the point I'm making. As you become more and more successful, you want to help other people. You want to carry people along with you. Now, I'm not saying, listen to a call and read a script, and then all of a sudden you're the expert and you're teaching others, because, then you'll seem like a little bit of a fraud, because wait a minute, didn't you just learn this yesterday? Like what business do you have? You don't have any proven track record here. But I'm saying, when you get to a certain point, start giving back. Always be giving back. And if you help enough people accomplish what they want, you can't help but accomplish everything that you've ever wanted. And I know that's a quote from somebody. I don't remember who it is, but it's true. Let's see. Get the 6% from the bank. I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to. I'm sorry. I know it probably tied into something that we said, but I'm not sure what you mean. Yes, on a short sale, they will pay most of the time. How long does it take to close a short sale? Well, very long. Typically 6, 8, 12 months. So it just depends. And sometimes they don't close. Sometimes. So you have to go into it with full disclosures of this is a situation. It's possible you can be into this thing, be making payments, and they don't approve the short sale, and they foreclose on it anyway, and you have to move. So there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. So there's a lot of disclosures and a lot of things you have to get signed and contracted and recorded. Or not recorded with the county, but get in recording. You can record people, acknowledging that they understand what they're signing and so forth, so that when something happens and they come back and they want to sue you or do something, you have all the documentation to fight it and win. Okay. Yes. Okay, Mike. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thanks. On the short sale. All right. So if that is all, again, go to virtualrealestateinvestor.org and check that out, and check out all of our other links and stay connected. I know we're all connected on Facebook already, so stay active. And what I recommend is go on Facebook to learn. Don't go on Facebook to waste your time. Don't go on Facebook to just have it be a time suck. As much as possible, just go in there and have a select group or two that you're plugging into for the right reasons, and sign in just to plug into that, to learn, to share, to encourage others, to be encouraged by others, and nothing else, because you can waste a whole lot of time and productivity by being on there. And until you figure out how to monetize Facebook, like many of us have, and a lot of us, virtual investors and internet marketers and stuff like that have done, it's nothing but a waste of time. So that's the recommendation that I will leave you with. And thanks again for being with me. Thank you, Fred. I'm glad. I'm glad to inspire you, and it's just crazy. It's a crazy, humbling experience with some of the messages and some of the emails and comments that I get from people, because I'm just a regular guy, and regular guy making a living, wanting to do good and do well, and I mean, it's amazing that we're able to touch and inspire other people's lives. So thank you. All right. Yes, Michael or Mike, thank you. And uh, my wife is just getting back home from spending some time with her mom, and we're gonna have some dinner and now enjoy some time together, because that's really why we do all these things, right? Is for our loved ones and to be able to improve the lives of others. All right, Kelly, thank you. And remember, this will be up in the next day or so. And don't forget that we do have all of our podcasts on there. So there's not just the Bird Doctor Intern, but there's Journey to Success. There's our radio show. And if you haven't tuned into that, we are on Bloomberg Radio 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And you can tune in live from c2cria.com/live. You can stream it online. Or you can catch any of the recordings and download those as well at c2cria.com under the podcast section. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great evening. Thank you.